Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Yellowstone Season 5 Episodes 12 Recap, 7 Biggest Moments and Reveals. Following the game-changing ending of Episode 11, Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 12 depicts the characters reeling from Sarah Atwood's death, planning their next steps, and being thrown for a loop when another person dies on the ranch. The Paramount Network neo-Western drama TV show, created by Taylor Sheridan, follows the chaotic lives of the Dutton family. In Yellowstone's final stretch of episodes, the Duttons experience a lot of tragedy and scramble to find a way to save everything they have built. Unfortunately, they didn't get any closer in Episode 12, Counting Coop. Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 11 ended with Sarah's death. After an explosive fight with Jamie that got physical, Sarah stormed out of his house and drove away. When she pulled up to a stoplight, another car stopped next to her and got her attention. They pretended to ask Sarah for directions, confirmed her identity, and then shot her to death. It's unclear who exactly was behind Sarah's death, but Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 12 suggests that the people she hired to assassinate John Dutton, i.e., are the same ones who murdered her. Unfortunately for the hitmen, killing Sarah doesn't solve their problems. Teeter and Colby are one of the best couples in Yellowstone, and the beginning of Season 5, Episode 12 proves how heartwarming their relationship is. While Teeter is away with some of the other ranch hands transferring the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch's livestock, Colby is back in Montana, and it's clear they miss one another. Teeter reflects on the time difference between her and Colby, and how it takes an hour for her voice to get to him. Colby tells her that statement doesn't make sense, but he won't tell anyone she said it because of how much he loves her. Colby immediately grimaces as he accidentally lets his first "I love you" to Teeter slip out of his mouth. He tries to backtrack, but Teeter doesn't let him. Then, she ends the call by telling Colby she loves him too. Unfortunately, this tender moment between Colby and Teeter is one of the few happy moments in Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 12. Given Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 11's staggering ending, it's only a matter of time before Sarah's death is brought up in Episode 12, Counting Coop. The police at the scene of the crime deduce that Sarah was killed in a carjacking gone wrong. However, the detectives who talked to Jamie at his house in Episode 12 think otherwise. They reveal that since there was no attempt to open Sarah's car door, her windows were down, and her purse was in her lap, it's more likely that Sarah was specifically targeted rather than the random victim of a carjacking. The two law enforcement officers ask Jamie about his relationship with Sarah, whether it was strictly personal or also professional. Jamie denies that it was anything but personal, of course, but he starts to truly lose his cool when the detectives want to look at Sarah's belongings. Jamie, who the audience knows was working with Sarah to take down his father, who then died in Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 9, refuses to let the cops look at Sarah's stuff, and viewers quickly learn why. After learning that the detectives want to seize Sarah's belongings towards the beginning of Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 12, Jamie goes full lawyer mode and tells them they need a warrant. Jamie claims that they are treating him like a suspect. One of the detectives, Dillard, who is also working on John Dutton's case in Yellowstone, tells Jamie that he wasn't considering him a suspect. However, Dillard is now after Jamie's outburst. After the two detectives leave, Jamie immediately runs up to the room where Sarah was staying. He rummages through her suitcase and finds the documents he was looking for. It's unclear what the documents entail, but they likely incriminate both Jamie and Sarah in their pursuit to ruin the Dutton family in Yellowstone. Jamie isn't seen for the rest of the episode, meaning his next steps following Sarah's death are unknown. Desperate times call for drastic measures for the Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2 characters. The Duttons know they are bound to lose some of their land, if not all of it, so Rip Wheeler starts selling and auctioning off the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch's livestock in Counting Coop. After learning about the ranch's plans for the future, Lloyd Pierce asks Rip if they are out of business. Rip corrects him by saying that they are trying to save the business. Rip would rather lose their livestock than their land, and they need to get money fast somehow. As a result, selling cows, bulls, horses, and more is a necessity to keep the ranch intact and in the Dutton family's hands. Only time will tell if this method fails, or if it will be enough to let the Duttons retain possession of the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch in Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2. When Rip enacts his plan to sell and auction off the Yellowstone's livestock in Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 12, he calls Travis Wheatley, played by Yellowstone series creator Taylor Sheridan, who is teaching Jimmy Herdstrom to be a horse trainer. After informing him of John Dutton's death, Rip asks Travis to move some of the Yellowstone horses they are keeping in Texas. Travis agrees and then asks Rip if he wants to hand the phone over to Jimmy so that he can tell him the tragic news. Sadly, Rip doesn't have the heart to do so. After hanging up the phone, Travis pulls Jimmy aside. At first, Jimmy thinks Travis is firing him, but the news he receives is much worse. Jimmy learns that John has died, and he is beyond shocked and devastated. Travis tells Jimmy he is giving him the week off, but Jimmy shakes it off and resumes working. Jimmy claims that John wouldn't want him to miss work. So even though he is obviously shaken by the news, Jimmy gets back on his horse in Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 12. Unfortunately, Colby and Teeter's tender moment at the beginning of Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 12 seemingly only serves to set up Colby's death later in the hour. Carter is refilling water buckets in the stable when he comes across a wild, violent horse. He was previously told not to go into the horse's stable, but Carter notices the water bucket inside is empty. The young boy carefully goes into the stable, retrieves the bucket successfully, and fills it up with water. However, Carter isn't so lucky when he tries putting the bucket back. The horse attacks Carter in Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 12, and backs him into a corner. Colby rushes to help Carter and distracts the horse, allowing Finn Little's character to escape. The horse sets his target on Colby and stomps on him, instantly killing the ranch hand. Carter kills the horse with a shotgun, alerting the others, but there is nothing they can do to save Colby. Rip calls Ryan to inform him of Colby's death, and Ryan then has the heartbreaking job of telling Teeter that her boyfriend is gone. Sadly, Colby's death brings Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2's body count to 3. One of the darkest moments of Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 12 comes at the end of the hour and involves Case. Towards the episode's beginning, Case informs Dillard of the true nature of Jamie and Sarah's relationship. When Dillard warns Case that his brother is in the blast radius of this whole mess, Case reflects that Jamie put himself there, signaling that he doesn't care about Jamie's well-being anymore. Then, Case calls Cade, his old military friend, who reveals that Grant Horton is the professional hitman that Sarah hired to kill John. Case channels his dark side and sneaks into Grant's car, with Grant's daughter in the backseat. Luke Grimm's character points a gun at the young girl and tells Grant to drive. Case threatens the hitman by showcasing the danger he and his military contacts present and informing Grant that he knows everything about him and can touch him at any time. Before leaving the vehicle, Case hits Grant in the head with his gun, enacting counting coup, a Native American tradition, meaning that Case takes a piece of Grant's soul at the end of Yellowstone season.